Republicans would say now.
And eventually we get to he is down and out, and he's been fighting again, and his father doesn't want him fighting, so his father starts just destroying his garage dojo. His dad's just sort of limping around. His dad once again refuses to fight. We don't really know why he's so against fighting. Like, even when it's at your life, like, you know, I mean, he eventually was forced to do it with Van Damme, but the father takes such a hard stance. I wish we could have seen, like, where he actually killed someone or something like that in the ring.
Because right now they just look like cowards. We have no backup to why he doesn't want to fight so bad.
But one of my favorite RJ moment comes when Kurt McKinney's flipping out, he's crying, his Bruce Lee poster gets ripped, his dojo's being torn apart in the garage, and he's crying to RJ, and RJ basically is like, hey, I know an empty house we can go to and put all your stuff there. What is it like a crack house or something? What are we talking about? Why is it...
I guess, like, you think about, again, we bring Sopranos into this, and I just think of, like, the squatter houses that Tony's buying up and that they have to run people out of. But it's just this run-down squatters' rights building just... I totally unsafe for Jason just to be there as a teenager at night under candlelight in the first place. And
wild to me.
Yeah. But it seemed to work as a kid. Like, if there was an abandoned house, I'd put all my karate shit in there.
There was, of course. Yeah. That's what I wanted, was an abandoned house to where I could somehow... We, in my neighborhood, would go and see if houses for sale, if there were doors unlocked. We would just go hang out in there. We'd done that before. So it wasn't crazy to me as a kid to think, like, of course. RJ has this hookup, and they're just going to keep their karate supplies there. And it's at this house, which maybe has a gas leak, which is why he's hallucinating, that we meet Bruce Lee. Yeah. Bruce Lee's ghost trains Kurt McKinney to be a better fighter. He teaches him to think, first he teaches him not to think, then to think, and then it's a weird discipline that this Bruce Lee teaches. I mean, it works, but I guess like it just seems he packs. I mean, I guess he knows he's got to pack it all into one night, kind of thing, or a couple of nights because he's got to get out of there. That's true. After a while, it's like I'm going to give you this abbreviated Bruce Lee philosophy. Yeah. Otherwise, I got to get back to heaven. Heaven, I think. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I assume heaven, but I just don't know if what spiritual realm he's coming from or he believed in. And I think we can, Bruce Lee teaches him how to these new kicks and stuff like that, teach him how to be stronger. But the training montage was incredible as a kid. Nothing made me more excited than this training montage as a child. Oh, yeah, easily. This is definitely, besides all the fight scenes with Van Damme at the end, this is definitely the best thing about this movie because the progression of it, too, it's not all one montage. You get the starting of training with Bruce Lee. Then you get him just starting training by himself, which is push-ups on a school picnic table. And he gets on that picnic bench in the smoothest fucking way, too, doesn't he does. Yeah, like the roll and everything, man. And then you see it progress with one-arm push-ups, then fingertip push-ups and everything, too. And then you get that cool plywood against the basketball goal thing that I always wanted to do. I wonder if that's like a real workout that he did, or like he was like because the idea is that he's doing hanging upside down sit-ups, basically, like bringing your head up to your knees, hanging upside down. But then he takes it to the next level and doing it while swinging and hitting his back against this just piece of wood set up against the pull-up bar. I mean, he looks indestructible. And he talks about this, that he was really into weightlifting, and so they were like, no, you're too big. So he stopped weightlifting, and the clothes were done to hide his physique. So when he does show his physique, it looks like it came out of the training. Yeah. So good for them, because it works, because he gets all ripped and stuff, and he starts. Gosh, how cool was it when he had those old school
spring-loaded handles that he would just punch through.
Oh, I love man. Man, those are great. And everything would have worked out just fine. RJ could have caused detrimental injury to Stillwell just jumping on his lap in the middle of doing dips or whatever he was doing.
And it is the funniest homoerotic scene when he's strong enough to do, basically the workout is his neck is over a park bench back.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Are on a picnic bench. And he's letting his body fall down into a V position and bringing it back up. So he's basically his hip thrusters up.
Yeah.
And at one of the scenes, RJ's in it, eating like a popsicle or something, as Kurt McKinney's character just humps him up and down in the air. It's so funny. Never occurred to me as a kid that it was anything close to that. But it's a legendary training montage, and it did its job so well.
It did, and it had the great song over the top of it, which is, the soundtrack on this is great too.
Slaps, it bangs.
Yeah, it does, it bangs. But yeah, I mean, we get the buildup of confidence is back up in Stillwell. He's ready to fight. He doesn't know what he's fighting for. I guess at this time, he only thinks that he's fighting Dean. I would think so at this time, and that's what I take from it. But until we get another cut right after the training is all over, and Lidaga is gone. He vanishes, and it's just Jason again. But then we get this mansion where we get henchman number one.
Yeah,
well-dressed henchman with the Don, I guess, of this organization. Letting him know that Seattle is as good as theirs. They have a tournament that they cannot lose. I mean, what are the questions that surrounded you with this? Like, I guess...
I mean, it's so... Go ahead.
No, I don't know... Like, if I'm that Don, I'm like, why are we in this position anyway? Like, why are we having a tournament? Why are we doing this? Like, why aren't we the mob?
Why does it need to be a tournament?
Yeah.
Now, I guess you could bend the story to be one of okay, we want to embarrass the highest ranking karate school instructors to show that, hey, we're here now. But you want them to do the day-to-day. You don't want to bring in your own instructors.
Yeah. They got organization things to do. You want dojo guys to run the dojo. You want you
just want that passive income of that 10% check at the end of each month or whatever you're getting. So I don't know why they're coming so hard at this guy, and why it ended up being a tournament. And you're right. Tony Soprano would be like, what the fuck are you doing?
I can imagine, and that's what I was thinking every step of the way. What if Tony Soprano was in the lead role as the Don guy? And just, what are we doing here?
You got Michael Imperioli calling him, like, Tony, I got it all set up. It's going to be a karate tournament. It's going to last 3 days, and there's going to be the best fighters versus our best fighters. Like, what the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing?
And Tony comes down there, sets the sensei down, puts a gun to his head, shoots his kneecap, and says, you're going to give us the fucking money, or we're going to have fucking problems like this all the time. And that's what it would be. But no, this guy's like, he has a weekend karate tournament to go to now.
Yeah, and it's at Adams YMCA in Columbus, Georgia. It looks
pretty much. It really is. I mean, there are tens of people in this audience.
Yeah, got the fold-out chairs. They didn't have enough, it looks like.
And why are they invested? They hoist Kurt McKinney on their shoulders at the end of this fight.
Yeah, like they knew what was going on.
It's like we talked about when in Showdown Little Tokyo, how at the end, when Dolph Lundgren kills everybody, that all the townspeople are basically bowing to him, like, thank you. But we never saw him, Tagawa, take out any problems, like, cause any problems to the neighborhood, really.
Yeah. It seemed like the neighborhood had a problem with him. Like,
And so, like, I don't know, it would have been nice to see, like, the mob putting a squeeze on the local businesses or something, but no.
Just do a quick TV news cut of, like, mobs moving into Seattle. Like, a lot of store owners are feeling pressured. Like, that's all you got to do.
Mobs and Russians moving in?
And Russians.
You know what? You're right, Marcus. Put that news story right before they cut to Ian winning the championship. Yeah. That would have solved a lot in this. Yeah. And we get the final fight. Kurt McKinney's not even in it.
No, he's just sitting in the stands. Yeah.
like a chump, like a bitch.
Like a cuck.
And it's and it's Sugarfoot. It's the bully. What's his name? Ian. Dean
and Ian. Yep.
Right. And they handle themselves well until Van Damme gets in there.
Do you think Scott asked to fight in this? Because he's in the corner. But do you think Ian was just like, dude, no, you can't fight in this kind of thing? Or do you think Scott was just...
That would be... I would have loved to have seen that scene of the three of them in there talking game plan, and then all of a sudden Scott comes in there. It's like in his tight-ass gi, like just ready to tighten his white belt and go to work. Yeah. I think he probably would have... I think he probably offered with the knowledge they would say no.
Yeah, so he knew that. He knew what the answer would be, so that's why he asked.
He's like, I wish I could get in there. Oh, boy. And so the fight goes well for a little bit, but then we get into the boss fight.
Boss fight.
And we get 3 good boss fights.
Really? Just Van Damme cleaning everyone's fucking clock.
Man, he does. First it starts with first it starts with Dean. Dean holds no match. I mean, neither of them do. Ian is the only one who puts up some sort of fight with him. But yeah, just Dean and Sugarfoot just get annihilated this whole time.
And it was that spinning kick that really took Sugarfoot out in real life, basically knocked him unconscious. Depending on who you talk to, Kurt McKinney doesn't remember. He remembers a few stiff shots, but everyone else from the set is talking about how like Van Damme was reckless and stuff like that. And he was like, Van Damme was tough, but he wasn't. Like Corey Yuen also was asking that of their actors. So I don't know. I mean, Van Damme is reckless, it seems, based on what Liam Hemsworth says, but you're also working with a Hong Kong director who wants that fucking contact and is going to use that shot where Sugarfoot gets knocked unconscious because it looks so good. So, I don't know.
And Dale Jacoby, who plays Dean Ramsey in the podcast that I had mentioned, also, one of the... and again, I'm sorry that I don't have the podcast and the guy who was doing it, but he asked Dale... Jacoby, he's like, what was it like on set with Van Damme? And he just says Van Damme was very quiet. Like during this, he's like, I don't remember anything bad about him. Yeah, he was a little heavy sometimes, but nobody had really seen the sort of athleticism that he had too. And it wasn't expected of how good he was. I mean, we knew how good he was, but when it was in motion, like he can't control some of that. And he was putting up for him. He's like, he was so powerful, and we could have been faster, but we weren't as fast as him. And he was at his slowest. We were never as fast as him. And it was like
and with these Hong Kong style long shots, you're not stopping and cutting away from the impact. You're showing like wide angle shots of these kicks, and So I don't know. I don't know where I stand on it. I imagine I'd like it. I'd like everyone to be safe and happy, but I'm appreciative of the shots they end up with sometimes,
Oh, yeah, and I even like, you can tell from the first scene on and into the last one, too, where they cut and splice and kind of speed up the action, too, and as well, and it works well with it. I mean, it doesn't bother me at all. I think it adds to it as kind of that Hong Kong-esque directing, too, where it just keeps it on camera with the long shots. Yeah, just do that. I don't mind a little cut here and there to where it's speeding up. But anyways, Van Damme just annihilates Dean and Sugarfoot, and in comes Ian, and Ian's what, a 5'3", $125, but he can get it though. He's a short little guy.
He's going after it, and he puts up a little stink for Van Damme, but eventually Van Damme pins him in the ropes and is going to kill him basically. Yeah. It is what Tong Po does to Dennis Alexio in Kickboxer.
And didn't you love as a kid, weren't you just enamored with the moves before that that he does on Dean and Ian with putting them in the ropes and spinning them around? Like, wasn't that just the most beautiful thing that you'd ever seen in the world?
I thought, what a brilliant idea. What the fuck's this guy going to do now? Like, these people can't move.
And he just the hard punches that he does to Ian once he puts the turnbuckle like around him, and he's just knocking him in that hairy chest of his.
And so he's going to kill him, and Kurt McKinney's seen enough.